12:05 on the oil stream. Thank you very much for being here. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, thanks for being here today. Tell your friends about EST. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up. Sorry, we're a few minutes behind getting rolling there. Actually, in between the lock shop and the oil stream, the power went out just in this room.
Yep.
We don't know how this building is put up for wiring or heating or anything. But like the TV stayed on, but everything else in here powered down. So
it is a obscure industrial office building from the late 60s, early 70s.
Very much
that used to be a live music venue that not once, but twice got busted for major narcotics.
Yeah.
In like a 4-year span.
Luckily, we're covering our tracks way better than those guys did. Imagine if EST came out as a huge drug front.
Straight up front.
God, that would suck. You aren't moving any marijuana out of here, are you, Tommy?
No.
You better not be. My goodness. Hernan, you're not smuggling anything out of here, are you?
He's from Latin America.
Why? Because I'm Latino?
No, I already asked Tommy. I already asked Tommy. That's a good response. So why are you asking me?
What is that supposed
No, but
to
seriously,
mean?
Are you?
What do you mean, you people? No, I'm just kidding. No.
Okay, good. Good. Phew. I guess we only have to worry about Reed Wilkins smuggling drugs.
He would be the last
out of here.
Suspect.
Edmonton Sports Talk is definitely a front. Definitely front.
Big Maple says we're distributing crack to people's ears.
I like that, actually.
Me too.
That's nice. Tell your friends. The old crack station. I think that's terrific. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. As always, the oil stream brought to you by our partners over at Boston Pizza. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, which means heart-shaped pizza time.
Yes.
Tara's actually going to be dropping off a bunch of heart-shaped pizzas on the 13th.
Yes.
A week from Friday. So we'll have a bunch of heart-shaped pizzas kicking around. So my kids love the heart-shaped pizza. It's like a special little Valentine's Day thing. So
it is neat.
We'll get that again.
Thank you to Tara. Tara's fantastic. Huge shout out to her and BP's Alberta. They're fantastic.
Well, and where are you at tonight?
I'm at Boston Pizza Westgate.
There you go.
Curtis and Tony, the entire staff there. Connor, the bartender. You've got Jess. You've got Faith. You've got...
You're great at remembering names, buddy.
Marasia, Shay.
Come on. All off the top of your head like this?
Yeah, great group there. Honestly, come on down. They've got the...
Maybe a prize party tonight or what?
Prize party if you want to do a little bit of golfing. They have the Coors Light Golf Simulator, $20 an hour.
Very affordable rate for that too, yeah.
Great rate. And it's just... And there's other games that you can do on the sim too. There's like a football one and there's some other ones. Like target games. It's awesome. They've done a great job over there. I love doing the pre and post game there. Hopefully Nanso comes down for a bite during the game, and we'll have a lot of fun. Food and drink specials, $5 off medium pizzas tonight, Dusty, and then $1 off tankards, I believe. Molson product, Canadian and Coors Light.
Max Mazuzu says, y'all got any more of that ear crack? You got to do the, y'all got any more of that ear crack? Somebody needs to take that original meme and put that over there. You got any more of that?
I like that.
Rip City Step says Reed selling high-end black market 100-sided die out of the EST headquarters. Is that a modeling thing?
No, it's because it's for his board games.
Oh yeah. Okay. 100-sided?
That would be wild.
He's 100-sided? No way.
Is there such thing as a 100-sided die?
Ask Reed if there's such a thing as a 100-sided die for games. Is that a thing?
What? Oh, yeah.
So the numbers go from 1 up to 100? Or? Oh, yeah. Hey, Hernan, can you turn on his mic here?
Here.
Reed, they just slide in there. We'll just... wow, look at this.
That's wild.
Yeah, so what...
Hernan's got him.
There we go.
Check.
Yeah, we got you, Reed Wilkins.
Is that thing on?
So, yeah, I was going to buy a 100-sided die. Because Jay and I, you guys probably remember I was rolling a D20 for something.
Did you just drop a D20?
That's a 20-sided
That's what a 20-sided die is called.
Okay.
What's a 100-sided dice called?
D100.
D100. So, I guess I could have guessed.
So I went to Warp 2 because I told Jay that I was gonna not spend more than $20 or something like that. So they had D100s for I think 25, but they're basically big balls, like maybe a golf ball and a half type size, like a little smaller than a tennis ball. But James, the very helpful employee at Warp 2, who I often chat with, said that they don't stop, like they just keep rolling.
Until like they hit something?
There's metal ones where they actually, it still looks like a ball, but they have 100 little surfaces.
I see it.
So you can actually stop it, but they were like $55.
Really?
So like I'm not getting
Look at that.
That is crazy.
So they keep like how it just takes forever to stop.
The plastic ones are too round, so they don't really stop, and then it's hard to tell what's on top.
Oh.
Whereas the metal ones actually are the surfaces are a little flatter. And
I think I
actually
see the metal
stop,
on there,
and then you can kind of tell better what the top number is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you one for Christmas. I'm going to put it in my phone.
What would you use
100-sided dice for Christmas for Reed Wilkins.
Very thoughtful of you.
Yeah.
Where-
What would you use it for?
Yeah.
That's a great question, Tommy.
To randomize things.
Oh, just okay.
So, we did a draft here.
Yeah.
It'd be like, so you'd roll, and that way it's unlikely there's going to be a tie.
Yeah,
say 10 of us did a draft, and we said, okay, we're going to roll, and the highest number then gets to pick where he's going to draft in the order.
Oh, so it's not for a board game.
Because we're rolling well, you could use it for a board game too.
Okay.
Yeah, you could use it for anything. But though I don't think I have any board games that would require a D100.
Yeah.
But yeah, because if you're rolling a D6,
yeah.
So say
D6.
so say all of us did a draft here.
Yeah.
So what? There's 10, 11 of us.
Yeah.
Here.
There's like the 10, 11.
So if we were to do a D6, it's going to be okay. The 4 guys that rolled a 4 now have to roll off. Whereas if you had a D100, you're probably not going to have a tie.
Not going to worry about that. Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, thanks for all the info.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day.
You're our dice insider. That's terrific.
I have something that I'd like to play right now.
Okay. Sure.
Just give me a sec here.
Are you doing the Dungeons and Dragons clip?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to drop the Dungeons and Dragons.
This is for you, Reed.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even know.
There we go.
I don't even know if it picked up.
I hope it did.
I don't know if it picked up. Tommy's playing Austin Powers Nerd Alert. I didn't know you have 100. To be honest with you, outside of the board games categories,
I'm sorry.
I didn't know you could have more than a 26-sided dice.
You didn't know there was a D26?
No, I'm very intrigued by it.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
I think Edmonton Sports Talk as a company should invest in a D100 that we can just use for random solving of everything.
And it never stops rolling, according to Reed.
Yeah. Well, the one looked like it did. The one that has, like,
He said
what's
the metal one
What's the
does.
point of a dice that just keeps on rolling? Or a die, I guess I should say, that just keeps on rolling.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To randomize things, as Reed said. Reed, I'm very sorry for saying Nerd Alert. Or doing the Austin Powers.
You look like you hurt his feelings there.
He kind of walked away sad.
But I mean, I would have never known that.
Yeah.
I would have never, ever known that. All right. So that's, Jay says it's for Dungeons and Dragons and other pen and paper RPGs.
Did you say Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. I don't have this thing died when the power went out, or else I could probably play it on there.
I finally figured out how to, it was plugged in yesterday, and I just wish
you just push a button. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there was like a bleep.
Yeah. I don't think it's in there.
I have one on the board.
I know you have one on the big one. Yeah.
And pre and post.
All right. Look, I'm going to get people really fired up right now. I don't even know if I should say this on the oil stream today, but I'll say it.
Do it.
I'll say it. I thought Stuart Skinner was okay last night.
He was fine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be that guy, but I thought Stuart Skinner was okay last night.
Did he win the hockey match?
I thought he was good last night.
Did he make nice saves in overtime?
Yeah. You know what? Barely anybody mentioned that overtime save. Broberg too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that was a good save. He made 2 great saves going left to right early in the hockey game. I thought he was good last night, and I'm really, really scared for the upcoming playoff run.
What it's going to do to Stuart Skinner.
Part of me, like, if you don't praise Evan Bouchard, even if you just don't even mention Evan Bouchard, people are like, why aren't you praising him? Why aren't you praising him for this game? I was like, well, I didn't say anything bad about him. I just, was talking about other elements of the game. They're like, well, you have to be praising Bouchard. Bouchard was good. He was great last night.
You have to.
That's the thing. It's just like, if you aren't outgoingly praising Evan Bouchard, people are going to come after you in the market. And then if you're not calling Evan Bouchard, a mess defensively, sometimes there's other people coming after you. If you praise Stuart Skinner after a good game, there's people coming after you. And if you try to defend Stuart Skinner, there's people It's wild on these two players. Meanwhile, Victor Arvidsson just sits around doing nothing, and nobody says a thing about anything.
He's not he's bad right now. He's bad. He's fighting it.
I wasn't sure if I could get away with saying that Stuart Skinner was good last night, but I did it. I decided to have the balls, and I did it because I thought he was.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, key saves and key moments. Did he have the large volume that Binnington did? No. I didn't think Binnington was great. He saw a lot of shots, made some good saves too. Helped them pick up a point as they try to stay alive in the Western Conference.
Yeah, neither goaltender won or lost their team that game last night.
No, exactly.
That's just how it is.
Matthew DeFranks was on from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch on the pregame show.
I watched a little bit of that.
I asked him about Binnington. I said, should Canadians be concerned heading into the Four Nations that Jordan Binnington is the de facto number one for our nation's team? And he goes, well, he shows up and plays really well in big games. And then other games, he's bad. His numbers aren't great this year. Win-loss record, not good. His averages were meh. I think he was sub 900. It's somewhere around 250s. I think high 250s, GAA. And he said in big games, he's played well. In every other game, very mediocre. That's not good. That's scary. That's a double-edged sword because you're basically saying he's a money goalie in the regular season. You want a money goalie in the playoffs and in big tournaments. So if you're a Canadian hockey fan, you're going, okay, that sounds like he's going to raise his level for the Four Nations face-off. But are you 100% sure he's going to be able to? Or no, he will for a fact. His trend is to raise his level. But that question mark is a big one. So,
yeah, you have to start to wonder about that a little bit.
I was looking at Binnington's numbers yesterday. I'm like, that doesn't look like a starting goalie for Team Canada at the Four Nations face-off.
Let's stick with Skinner for a second. I threw these out this morning, and I want to like this. Just I think proves for the haters who like there are people you see them on the postgame who like legitimately don't think he's even an NHL goaltender, let alone a starting caliber goaltender. And I don't understand how you can be that oblivious to the situation. So far this season, I'm going to ask you this is a little trivia thing for you, Tommy.
Okay.
And once again, we have never on Oil Stream said, "Oh, he's a top 8 goalie in the league."
No, we've actually done
he's a middle
opposite.
of the pack guy. He's between 9 and 18. He's a middle of the pack guy.
I believe we listed the top 8.
Yeah, we laid it all out. Like
I think we went top 15.
But
maybe.
Let me just run this by you this afternoon here. Who has a better goals against average so far this season? Stuart Skinner or Sergei Bobrovsky?
I'm going to say Skinner because I watched Bobrovsky allow a goal 7 seconds into a game the other night.
It is in fact Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
Who has a better save percentage this year? Igor Shesterkin or Stuart Skinner?
With the way the Rangers have been playing generally, I know they're better lately. I would say Skinner probably does.
He does. Yeah. And look, Shesterkin's a very good goalie, and he's not having a great year.
11.5 million.
But still, like, and then who has more shutouts this year? Jake Ottinger or Stuart Skinner?
That one I would guess Ottinger.
No, it's Skinner as well. Okay. So it's like some people just refuse to accept him as a decent NHL goaltender.
I've realized this.
And like he's got these numbers that are better than this guy here, better than this guy here. And it's not across the board. He's not going to win he's not getting in on the Vezina, but this is a guy who probably should be his first year as a starter if the Jack Campbell contract would have been out. So he's been thrust into the spotlight a little bit. Maybe he's been in over his head at some times, but I just like that the Skinner haters are just taking it too far. That's what I think. I think the Skinner haters are just taking it too far and it's a bad look. That's it. Can't we just say, yeah, he was good last night. He wasn't great last night. He doesn't have to be great every single night. He was good last night. That's usually going to be enough for this team.
The old cliche, that goalie A, goalie B, goalie C is good enough to give his team a chance to win on any given night. It resonates. And it it can be applied in so many different references in hockey, and it applies here. they like Stu Skinner. He's tracking well. He's done tracking well in terms of his trajectory over the course of his early career here. He's done some really good things. He's had some tough times, adversity, sure. But a guy that's getting into his third full season here, where he's just past the 2.5-year mark, he's done some pretty good things. So he doesn't have to be a Vezina winner to win a Stanley Cup. He just has to have and instill confidence in the group and make a nice, timely save from time to time, and away you go. Like, the guys in the room like him, and they trust him, and they play for him. They like Calvin Pickard. They trust Calvin Pickard. They play for Calvin Pickard. That's all you need. All that the team is asking for is that Stu Skinner keeps them in every game. They'll take care of the rest. That's generally the understanding between a team and its goaltenders. And he does that for them. I'm telling you, too, man, they love Stu Skinner. Now, is Stu Skinner elite? No. Can he win this team a cup? Yes. Did he almost do it last year? Yes. How many of those Stanley Cup final games, we went over it 2 weeks ago, the Oilers had a goal or less in 3 of the 7.
Yeah.
Stu can't score. He might try to, but he needs to put more tape on his stick, like Joaquin likes to say.
There's Gager. You know.
Yeah.
Ethan Marner over on the Nasty Chat. If you're watching on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be great. We'll get to the Oilers and Hawks tonight, obviously. Lots to discuss. Where is it? Yeah, Ethan says, I fully think the Skinner hate stems from the early goal, not the overall performance. Too often feels like the Oilers are trailing early, which makes people crazy. Okay, and I understand where you come from there, but then are we hanging every single early goal just on Stuart Skinner? Or are we hanging it on the team? I mean, we can't just go, well, he always lets in an early goal without actually looking at the goals and going, okay, well, that one's stoppable, but what are we doing? We're going to blame him on this one? Like, it's too simple to just say it that way.
Last night they gave up, I think it was like 3 shots in the first period.
And
they were grade A 10-bell chances.
Yes.
And he stopped them all.
Yeah. So if he gives up one of those grade A chances, people are going to be like, well, allowed another goal in the first. Like, you have to look at the situations, I think, to fully, like, and I'm not saying you should be on board with Stuart. I'm just saying the haters are taking it too far in this market for Stuart Skinner. Simple as that.
It does go extreme. And I think that old thing where it's a vocal minority, because I think generally people look at Skinner and go, he's adequate. Like, he can do it. He's proven that. But the vocal minority is very obnoxious and very loud. And they beat that drum until everybody at least hears them. They might not agree with them, but they hear them.
What was the reaction like last night? Postgame.
Very funny. Like the sexual innuendo with some of the stuff in the Nasty Chat. I'll start with that. That was funny.
Is that the scissoring stuff?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Playing pucks on the outside.
Okay.
Oilers rimming it a lot.
Oh, boy. Enough. I mean,
right?
After a win, everybody's excited. So they're making sexy time jokes.
We were laughing quite a bit yesterday, actually. Belzy and Hernan like had to take off his glasses because he was wiping away tears from laughing so much. Yeah, it was. It was a fun post-game show. The Oilers like almost blowing it. Frustrated fans, but the fact that they pulled it out, and there is some desperation with the Blues right now. And when the Blues got physical after the Ekholm hit and the goal, they really took over for, I think it was about an 8-minute window where the Blues really took it to the Oilers. And good on the Oilers for hanging in there, tying it up, and then winning in overtime. It might be poetic justice that it happened to be Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway that got walked by Connor McDavid to set up Connor Brown. Yeah, and Skinner was solid late in the game. Skinner was solid in overtime. And was it pretty? No, but they pulled it out. And we'll see. We'll see how they react today. I was listening to you guys on the Lock Shop, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to get in on this parlay. But I think the Skinner hate last night. I think we talked briefly about it, but we got into more of the Arvidsson not providing anything.
Well, yeah. What do you do with that guy? Actually, wait a second.
You got to keep running him out there.
Let's just wait. I have it in Keep It or Clip It. Let's save the Arvidsson conversation.
Okay.
We'll get to the Arvid conversation in Keep It or Clip It. What about Bouchard last night? Thought he was pretty darn good last night.
Yeah. He had I don't want to point out just negatives with Evan Bouchard, but yeah, I thought he was all right. Better, certainly. And he was responsible for one of those grade A chances in the first period. I think he tried to block a shot in, not booting it into the slot. And then I can't remember which Blues player got it, but had a great shot at the net and Skinner made the save. I thought Bouchard was better. That's a good sign. Maybe he is locking it down, and maybe Paul Coffey is instilling and breathing confidence.
Maybe Evan Bouchard is just growing up and becoming a pro.
Perhaps.
Maybe that's what's happening here. Mike, you see Mike Kelly's tweet about Bouchard?
Not.
Okay, so Mike, you know Mike Kelly, obviously.
I love Mike Kelly. He's a great guy.
Yeah, so Evan Bouchard had a pair of assists last night. Sits 7th in scoring among defensemen, ranks top 5 in a number of key areas, including puck possession, scoring chances, completing outlet passes, and how often he turns the puck over relative to how often he has it. So just to look at these numbers, points, 42, he's in 7th. Turnover rate, 10.9%. That's 5th.
Is that good
in
or
the
bad?
league? I think that's good. He's ranked 5th. So it's good.
But the ones he does turn over are really bad.
There's some bad ones sometimes.
No, there's some.
Outlet passes, 578. He's 3rd. Scoring chances, 70. He's 5th. Still can't score on the power play, but it's going to come. Tonight's the night. I've been calling it all day.
A little sprinkle.
And then puck possession, 127 minutes and 8 seconds. Only 3 other defensemen have had the puck on his stick. So then I retweeted and I said, so what's the contract number going to be?
Uh-oh.
Because this is becoming like the Bouchard contract could be the thing that rips the fan base in half.
Yep.
It really could, because there is the one side of the fan base who absolutely loves Evan Bouchard because he is a statistical
darling
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Phenomenon. Well, it doesn't matter. And then there's the other half who are just like, I would trade him. I wouldn't give him more than $7 million. And then there's like that group that loves him. If he comes in at 10.5, 11 million, they'd be like, it's justified. Like that's how. And then the people who are in that other category, like unless Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson can deliver this thing at 9.5, there's going to be a tear in the timeline in this timeline for Oilers fans. So I posted on Twitter. I said, so what's the number going to be? Just some replies here. RCN might even be watching now. 78 mil over 8 years, 9.75 AAV. Austin Hockey, numbers guy.
Yep.
Says 10 million plus per year. Agents are licking their chops at the projected salary cap figures for the next few years. Logan says 2 years at 7.8.
There's no bridge. They already bridged him.
That's not, they're not going 2 years on this thing.
No.
More than 9.25, I can promise you that right now, that would be tied in. This at least above 9.25, which is the Darnell Nurse tie-in here. Anything between 10.5 and 9.5 is good for him and good for the Oilers. Brody over on the X says if it's anything more than 8, it'll be a big mistake. And then Jordan says, whatever it is, 90% of people will be, and it's the Kramer gift where he goes, it's too much. It's too much. 8.25 by 8. 8 years, 10 mil, lock them up. So people are $2 to $2.5 million apart on the pro Bouchard folks, and then the anti, oh my God, hate him, trade him for anything folks. There's a crevice in between these two sides.
A chasm?
A crevasse. A chasm. Yeah, chasm might have been the word.
There you go.
But this is going to be, I think the day Bouchard signs for whatever it's for will probably be the biggest numbers we've ever had at Edmonton Sports Talk. Like people are going to be losing their mind one way or the other. Yeah. And I can't wait to see the reaction to the number.
You know what the reaction is going to be. It's going to create more of a chasm.
Okay, but what's the number that doesn't create any chasm and it brings both sides back together? Where oh my God, look at Bouchard, he tapped out, he's soft side goes, I can live with that. And then the people who think he should get overpaid are so happy because it's a better cap it, but being like, this guy should have got more, he's worth 10.75. What's the happy middle point?
I don't know if there is one.
That's what I mean. Like this is.
I don't think there's any middle point.
Because I even think if he comes in at 9.25, there are people who I would not have given him over 7.5.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
And then you have to explain the market to them again and be like, this is why Darnell is at 9.25.
And the cap has changed. It will continue to go up. And
yeah, exactly. And they'll just be like, nope, not having it. Almost like someone not having sanctions after a draft.
Wait, but you did get sanctioned.
Did I?
Well, I know you're saying you're refusing the sanctions, but
I refuse the sanctions.
I think the commission's inputting the sanctions. Can you get into the inbox right now?
I will not acknowledge those sanctions.
My inbox is not loading. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I've got it.
I do have it.
This one is in and says, guys, the stats you are listing off are one thing. Why does he fail the eye test constantly?
Because he makes terrible mistakes at inopportune times that have become worse this year. He is capable and has been a better all-around defenseman, defender, offensive player in years past. He's been more reliable and consistent at both ends of the rink in years past, in pressure situations, in the Stanley Cup final. He had very strong finishes to last year's regular season, the year prior's regular season, and the one before that. It hasn't happened this year, and the mistakes he makes are ones that he would make when he was a rookie and he was just figuring out the NHL. That's the eye test where it's telling us something's not right with Evan Bouchard. That's what makes us question if the looming contract negotiation is weighing on him. That's what gets people fired up and wants him fired off and sent to the moon and never to return. It is the moments in the game, and a lot of these mistakes are ones that are self-induced.
Yeah.
Outlet passes. Like Mike had the stat about outlet passes.
He's fourth in the league in outlet passes.
But the other night against Toronto, there was like 2 or 3 outlet passes where he wasn't even being forced, and he iced it. Generally, Evan Bouchard hits that pass tape to tape. I'd say 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times. And there are moments where he just fails to have success in the fundamentals of playing defense in game. And that's why the eye test is telling us, hey, he's not having a good year.
I think why the eye test probably frustrates some people a little bit too is that, and you talked about, the turnovers they made are somewhat glaring sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he's on the ice a lot in a lot of important moments and stuff. But I also think even when things are working really well for him, he's always moving smoothly, but it doesn't seem like the urgency ever gets cranked up.
It's very casual, isn't it?
And he has a lot of analytical success in that fashion. But I think because of that, you're always just like, well, look at him. He's moving at 70%. And yeah, the numbers are great when he's moving that clip, but I think it makes it easier to jump on him at times when he does make a mistake because they're like, well, he's too casual all the time. So I think that doesn't help him either. His style of play probably doesn't help him with those who want to find areas to go after him a bit.
Yeah. You know who is making a lot of the mistakes Bouchard is this year, but was doing it last year and was under the gun? Was Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Many times over, night after night, post-game show. How many icings by Nurse on outlet passes? How many this? How many missed coverages and checks that led directly to goals? A lot. And Darnell had a bad year last year. Guess what? He's playing very well this year and shows that you can bounce back. And that's why it's kind of, it's tough because you understand, like in a post-game show situation, you understand why there's frustration about a certain player and people want solutions. They want a quick fix and they say, trade this guy, get rid of him. And that's where you want to explain, hey, tap the brakes because he can come back. He can finish the year strong. He can put together a string of good games. He's done it before, a couple years in a row now. And Nurse's play this year is a good example of that. He's been able to put whatever burden of his contract behind him. And he just goes out there and plays, got into a good rhythm, and he's been a very valuable commodity on the Oilers' blue line. Evan Bouchard can do the same thing next year. Heck, he could start
later this year, you hope.
He could do it. He can have a nice surge at the end of the season. Maybe he comes back from the Four Nations face-off and is just recalibrated, and he gets back to being Evan Bouchard in playoff mode, which is, again, a really reliable defenseman at both ends of the rink. Perfect defenseman? No. but a really reliable one, yes.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you think you know what the make everybody happy number is on Bouchard, please let us know because we cannot get to the bottom of it. Ethan says, Bouchard makes the hard passes look so easy. So when they blow up, it shows as egregious as the level is quite hard. So when he turns it over, it looks like it's such a big mistake, right? So he makes that play that's difficult for lots of other guys a lot of the time. And then when he does, you're like, well, why are you doing that? Without initially thinking, well, yeah, but usually he does that. You said it like 90% of the time.
Yeah. No, he's taking some risks this year because I feel like his confidence probably isn't where it needs to be. Or
it's probably a little, get this guy a couple power play goals and get him feeling a little bit better.
And that's kind of bit him in the ass. And that's the beauty and the pain of hockey is the game can get you, and then the game can love you. It's the hockey gods giveth, and the hockey gods taketh.
If you are watching over on YouTube today, we are closing in on 100 here. We're 39 away. So hammer that thumbs up for us. That would be great. And sub to all of our podcasts. If you're listening to the Oil Stream podcast right now, make sure you sub to the Reed Wilkins Show podcast, the podcast of EST Afternoons as well, the Hangout. Sub to them all so you never miss any of the content that we're dropping over here at Edmonton Sports Talk. All right. Also in the game last night, what did you think of the officiating? Some of the calls and non-calls and
galore.
Yeah,
in terrible.
That was a classic. The game's moving too fast for these guys tonight.
Oh my goodness. I did not like the call on Ekholm. You don't see Chris Knobloch get fired up and give it to a ref. Like, if you want to call that giving it to a ref, but you don't usually see him call a ref over, point and sternly say something and stare down a guy. I think he had every right to do that. The missed call, was it Shen that buried Hyman from behind? That should have been a penalty. And then, listen, Leon Draisaitl definitely interfered or held up Robert Thomas in overtime. They didn't call that, and it ended up being to Edmonton's advantage, and Edmonton wins the game. The officiating very much on par where it's been for the last 5 years minimum, and that's just subpar. Not good.
Yeah, it's frustrating last night watching that game.
Frustrating is great. And yes, like, say, what was that? Why wasn't that called? Why was that called? Oh, really? It was all over the map in the worst way.
Benny says, guys, if the Oilers wanted to sign Bouchard over the summer, I think it would have been about 10/8. Now I think it's closer to 8/8. Statute Pause Production says Bouchard's going to get paid. Fans will just need to deal with it. The minute you trade him, you were looking for the same player, which was my rant on Monday.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
sure.
Yes. It's ridiculous to suggest you trade this guy is just one of the stupidest takes I've ever heard coming out of this market. Like, it makes no sense.
Now, I still stand by if you could get Caleb Jones. Or not Caleb Jones, Seth Jones, pardon me. Great guy, Caleb Jones. But if Seth Jones, I would entertain that. I'd be like,
you would, eh?
Okay. Yeah.
I think you need to add him anyway. Keep them all.
I wouldn't mind that either.
Cap's going up. Yeah. Just go. I want the Oilers to, when the cap goes up to like 114, to like desperately need it. Like, they're at 113 and they've only got 19 guys dressed because they're just doing everything they can to bring in the big name guys.
Buying out guys like they have in the past decade, which is that's a good way to shoot yourself in the foot.
All right, this show is flying by today. Let's dive into Popeye's spicy headlines today. And for that, we're going to get to, did you see the Athletics story? The Edmonton Oilers not even popping up on the no trade conversation.
I heard Greg talking about that.
Yeah, so Wyshynski brought it up.
Let me go to the Athletic here.
Yeah, Reed sent me the clip because I think he knows I don't have a subscription.
They tried charging me like $8 a month, and then
I thought it was supposed to be 99 cents.
I canceled, and they're like, "How about for $1 a month?" And I was like, "Yep, sure."
That's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, for a long time, we would have known, Edmonton's on no trade list.
Player poll. Okay, here we go.
So here we go. There's 82 players that were asked this question and answered it. If you have a no trade list, what's the first team on it? Almost 49% of them said Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Buffalo was almost 20%. Then you got San Jose. Calgary's at 3.66. Ottawa's at 3.66. Anaheim's 2.44. The Rangers are 2.44. And then the other are a series of teams that probably all got one vote or something like that.
They have that at the bottom here. I'm looking at it.
Also receiving
1.22% of the vote. Chicago, Montreal, Islanders, Flyers, Blues, Maple Leafs, Utah Hockey Club, Canucks, Golden Knights.
Tell me, that's 16 teams. That's half the league.
Mm-hmm.
And not one of those 82 guys said they'd have Edmonton at the top. And I'm thinking like 2-3 years ago, that still would have been the case for some guys.
Probably.
So, I mean, has the stigma finally been kicked?
Right now,
Is that it? Like everybody's like, I'm good to go. Send me to Edmonton. Let's do this.
Obviously, I mean, the weather sucks right now. So
it's cold now. It's the winter.
Never going to go away. Winnipeg, that stigma. It's the smallest city in the NHL. We're isolated here, obviously. Calgary, same thing. But our airport, it's bigger cities, more going on than in Winnipeg. I think we're almost double. Winnipeg's like 800,000 people, I think. Last time I checked. Edmonton, Calgary, around 1.5 million. There's more to do here. For a hockey player, like your wife, your girlfriend, there's more stuff to do. If it gets cold, you can get out of town.
There's a million people here. It's a major city. Like,
yes. It's a small, big city is how it is being described. Same with Calgary. Now, the other thing, and Greg hit on this too, and I think he's 100% correct, is the facilities that the Oilers have. Downtown, community arena, the area where a lot of the players live is beautiful. There's a lot of great areas in the cities. There's rough areas. It's a small, big city that has everything, right? And then the team's good. The owner, albeit, he's
an interesting fellow.
That's a great way to describe it. Does he meddle? Does he do things a little bit left of center? Yes. But the heart and the goal is in the right place, and that's to make sure this team's a contender year after year.
Look after their guys.
And win. Now, have they done that? No, but now they're in that position to do it. So
but they are a contender year after year now.
They
right?
are
like
now, yes.
Done that. That's step one.
So that has kind of moved Edmonton out of the riffraff. And then the other thing, too, is like the owner, like there are ways for the wives and girlfriends, if they want to get out of town, they can go to Cancun on a PJ.
Yeah,
and they don't have to come back.
Or they can just pay for one themselves. They make $5, $6, $7 million.
Correct. So those accommodations are available.
I'll never feel bad for the significant other of an Edmonton Oiler who makes more than $3 million being like, what am I going to do this weekend? You can go do whatever the hell you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Literally, you could fly to Florida.
There are direct flights places. Like, go somewhere warm.
Get out of here. Go. Yeah. Get out.
What about my wife, who's stuck here year round? You know, like, God,
shoveling
let's
snow.
worry about all of your wives who are listening right now, or your husbands, or whatever. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So there are good things that have arisen, and on top of that, team, like you said, contender. So Winnipeg they're going to have a tough time.
I just felt so bad for that much of the vote. My God,
I know. Buffalo, cold, miserable, team sucks. Okay, and Buffalo. Yeah. It's not a great. It's a fun city, I'll tell you that.
I've been to Buffalo one time for a draft.
San Jose losing a lot, super expensive to live there. I think that has a lot to do with the organization. Calgary, the rink sucks. When they get a new one,
changes their vote here.
If the team gets into contention, I think it'll move into one of those more of a destination places. The Sens, crappy rink. Ottawa is a sleepy town for the most part, because government town. But again, if Ottawa gets a good rink, the team gets hot, I think it could be an okay place to go, like it was in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When, people would go play in Ottawa because they were close to winning Stanley Cup. Ducks, crappy organization, retooling. Rangers, Chris Drury as a GM. I'm hearing more and more about how crazy
I don't think
he
people
is.
are going to want to be around Chris Drury for much longer. Yeah.
Very difficult to be around by all accounts. He wants to win. He's won before as a player. That's what I'm looking at. And you see the other note with all the other places, like Chicago's in the dumps right now. Habs,
it would be a great city to play in, though.
Habs in Quebec, you get taxed through the roof. Tough. They're tough on you there, like all Canadian markets. And listen, I'm not knocking French at all. I speak it. I've been to Montreal. It's a phenomenal city. But for some, the bilingual French thing is
it's not for you.
It's not for them. Yeah. Islanders, maybe Lou Lamoriello effect. Flyers in the dumps, retooling. John Tortorella. Blues kind of surprises me, although St. Louis is not a sexy city either.
Yeah.
I've been there a bunch of times. Toronto, maybe it's the scrutiny. Utah, I don't know why. Vancouver, I would assume, has to do with turmoil.
Stay out of there right now for a bit.
An interesting owner as well and management system. The Golden Knights, that surprises me because that was like the destination. But I know that in Vegas, there is no tolerance for failure. It's very cutthroat that way. That's why they've been burning through coaches, turning and burning players. Very cutthroat. So those are my educated opinions on this no trade list. Why are these teams there?
Well said.
Don't get me wrong.
No, well said.
Edmonton could be back on there next year. So.
All right, 780-218-9999. Haji says, that doesn't mean Edmonton isn't on a significant number of no movement lists. I'd be more interested in, if you had every single list of, every player in the league, it might be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, lots of good text messages rolling in. Nasty chat's moving along as well. Some thoughts on why Edmonton's become more of a destination outside of just Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and a great barn and a perennial contender. Rip City Steps says West Edmonton Mall is warm year round, so you've got that going for you as well.
Nice step. Nice.
Somebody else said you could go bowling in the Bonnie Doon Mall.
Yes,
so that's good.
Was that Lucas?
To which somebody else pointed out that the Bonnie Doon Mall has actually been downgraded from mall status. They're on a path back to mall status. A little bit further to go. That was Duck Dad.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, there's other reasons. Oh, and Max Pazuzu says, and you can't forget about all the donaires either. So
I would love a donor.
There's a bunch of ways that you can look at that.
I know.
But it's kind of nice to see like our city not be viewed that way by the guys who were polled, at least.
Oh, what NHL team has the best facilities for opposing teams?
Oh, was that a poll? I'd see.
Detroit.
Reed only screen capped the one thing for me. So
Detroit is first, 24.5%. Seattle, 21.82%. Edmonton, 20%. Then it drops down to Vegas and the Islanders at 10%. Utah at 7.27%. Montreal at 1.8%. They did build the rink right in Edmonton. Did they value engineer some things? Yes, but they stayed on the budget. That's the important thing. And I know we put a lot of emphasis on that around here, and that's important. In Detroit, beautiful arena. They went $250 million over budget.
Man. What's the point of having a budget?
They have terrazzo flooring on the concourses in Little Caesars
I don't
Arena.
even know what that is, but it sounds fancy.
I'll tell you what.
Sausages? Isn't that what you said? Chorizo?
Terrazzo flooring.
Terrazzo flooring. Okay.
We were supposed to have terrazzo flooring
What is
at
terrazzo
Rogers
flooring
Place,
look like?
but it had to be value engineered out, so we get polished concrete to maintain that budget.
That was going to be the floor at Rogers? Yeah, the funny little floor with like the rocks in it and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in Detroit, they have terrazzo flooring that looks like it's dark with like sparkles, like Bourbon Street has kind of.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. They have a Corvette on its side of the wall.
That would make the rink look nicer if
it would be sick.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have William Huff that has dressed up that arena very well.
Yeah, look what they do to McMahon.
Yes.
Bruce is just going around putting lipstick on pigs all over the place.
And people are like, you know what? This is adequate for a dump because the crew at William Huff make it look nice.
All right, let's get to keep it or clip it.
Okay.
For Tommy Guns. Original Barbershop at Tommy Guns. They believe a great haircut is more than just a quick in and out. It's about the whole experience. That's why they follow what we like to call the code. A commitment to deliver the best barbershop experience every time you visit. From check-in to the finishing touch, every step is crafted with care. No appointments needed. Just walk in, relax, and we will take it from there. I see Chris over in the chat says, Dusty, you need a haircut. Keep it or clip it. Yeah, I would keep it to clip it.
Yes.
Because it's getting pretty carried away right now, man.
It's wild. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really long. It's sticky uppy right now. It's
sticky uppy.
Yeah, that's why I'm full-blown hat guy pretty much all the time now. Because this is getting crazy. Yeah, these new EST hats are pretty slick.
Very good. With our secondary
our hat game
logo.
has been on point.
Yeah.
Like since we launched.
And we have something in store for our next version of the hat game.
We do. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, well,
I'm way out of the loop
the
on pretty much
paintings
everything
that Jared did The ones that are up of you guys?
Yes.
You know the hat Eric's wearing in his?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one. It's a great looking lid.
Well, Jared sent us like the logo
Perfect.
to use. So I think that's coming down the pipe.
Let's do that. Look, Patty's on the way with his 40-ounce steaks for the guys, too.
This show is flying by today.
It is, right?
Wow.
It's going pretty quick.
Mike from Calgary says, wait until this taxpayer boondoggle is done in Calgary. It will be massively over budget, and we all have to pay for it. Yep. Mike, good point. Good point. No provincial funds into Rogers Place, but provincial funds into the new Calgary Event Center.
And yet, Larry Thompson is going to have to fix Commonwealth himself.
That's right.
All right, keep it or clip it. Do others should move Matt Savoy in a deal for Colton Parayko?
If that opportunity is there, I would keep it.
So you wouldn't say no, like that wouldn't be a die on the hill thing for the Oilers if they're like, you can have Parayko, but the deal's going to have to include Savoy. You're not hanging up.
No.
If you're the Oil.
No.
I'd like to see Savoy.
Me too.
Yeah, I like to see him.
He's coming off an all-star appearance in the AHL. Very good. Tracking well.
Tommy, do you think I should wear my hair like this?
Yes. It looks
Hernan, what do you think?
awful.
Should this be my new hair? We could call it Slick Dusty. Just save the sides down and then just like keep it long, but just push it back like that. Yeah, I don't think nothing against O'Reilly, nothing against Savoy, nothing against Akey, nothing against other picks. You are in a window to win now.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to make the team on the ice now as good as it possibly can be.
Yeah.
You can call it short-sighted, but last time I checked, short-sighted wins championships. Maybe. I mean, sometimes if it works out well. Other times it really backfire and you miss a bunch of prospects down the road. But whatever. I feel like they're going to get it done at some point.
I think Parayko, if that opportunity presented itself, would. I asked Matt DeFranks about that yesterday. He said he doesn't think
they're going to move Parayko?
No.
Victor Arvidsson should be healthy scratched as a wake-up call. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it.
One game.
Yeah.
Other guys have sat out.
Yep.
Somebody said he falls down more than a toddler.
He does fall down a lot. And yesterday he toe picked when he had the puck, I think on the power play, and it just killed their power play wasn't very good yesterday, but he toe picked and went down, and St. Louis just dumped the puck down the ice. It was just killed the buzz. Killed the buzz. He's not playing well. Not playing well. Yes, I would keep that. I would sit him out and say, hey, get your ass in gear. You're better than that.
Keep it or clip it. More goalies should win the Hart Trophy.
Clip it, because I think when a goalie does win the Hart Trophy, they truly
it's deserved.
Deserve that Hart Trophy.
Like Hellebuck's taking a run at it this year.
There's 32 starting goalies in the NHL. There's 700 and something skaters.
Yeah.
Or maybe even more now. Like, what are the odds? Like, you have to do something so amazing. Dominik Hasek was so amazing.
He was ridiculous.
Jose Theodore had
that one
such
year
an
was an
amazing
insane season.
Right? Like, you have to be so very, very instrumental in your team's success and I think the guys that have won it that are goalies 100% earned it.
I think goalies should be in the conversation more often, though.
I think Hellebuck is a worthy candidate.
Yeah, well, this year is, but I think there's other years where goalies have pretty good seasons and we gloss over them a little bit.
That's probably that's fair.
The goalies are in the end, man. I mean, if you don't have goaltending, you don't got you know what.
You're screwed.
Connor Bedard will never hit 120 points in an NHL season. Keep it.
Keep it.
Keep it.
Yeah.
I keep it too.
I'm not knocking him.
No. 120 points is pretty damn special.
Yeah.
But I think he came in with the buildup of a guy who would eventually get to that type of number. But I don't know.
I could get to 100.
He'll be a 100-point guy.
Yeah.
But 120 is another level. Let's see how scoring continues to trend one way or the other. Maybe there's something there. But
how many seasons between 120-point years? It was like Lemieux at 95, 96, and then Connor and Kucherov.
It was a good stretch there for a while. They're banging them out now. But yeah. All right, what time do you get rolling on the GCL Diesel pregame show?
We're live at Boston Pizza Westgate, 170th Street and 90th Avenue. Come on down. It's going to be awesome. We'll keep you warm. We get going at 6:30 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, our fine station, and you can catch us on iHeart, TuneIn, Apple Music, Amazon Music now.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I know. And then Edmonton Sports Talk.
Well, somebody said all of our other things are on Amazon Music, but our Oil Stream is not.
That's weird.
That doesn't make any sense.
See, that's where I don't understand. Like, our shows from our station go to podcast, but each show has its own podcast channel, apparently. That was something I learned last week in the meeting.
You just learned that in the meeting last week?
Because I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh, yeah. No, well, yeah, the Oil Stream is available as its own podcast.
And
how did you think it worked?
Just you go to EST and all of them are there. You subscribe
no.
to EST.
They like on Apple, Oil Stream has its own podcast.
Okay.
So you download it. And Lock Shop has its own podcast, so you download it.
Now I'm aware.
Yeah.
And then we'll be here on YouTube as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a great time. Lots of great giveaways at BP. Tony is a diehard Oiler fan. He's one of those that would like to trade Evan Bouchard.
He's a Bouchard guy, right? Yeah, he's like,
get him out of here. Yeah.
What a guy.
He comes with his homework and he shows his work. And you're like, oh, Tony, you have flushed this out.
You're still crazy, Tony.
I wouldn't do it.
All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream today. EST Afternoons. What's going on EST Afternoons? What do we? What's happening today?
No response.
I guess I'm here. Highlights, lowlights, and Tab Bamford. Blackhawks writer for Bleacher Nation / the fourth period as well. And it'll be a good time previewing the action. Connor versus Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ice Cube right there. All right, that's going to do it for Oil Stream today. Brought to you by our wonderful partners over at Boston Pizza, Popeyes, Spicy Headlines, and, of course, Keep It or Clip It for Tommy Guns. I'll be back tomorrow morning on the Nielsen Show bright and early at 6 o'clock. Tommy with the pregame show starting tonight at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
To get you ready from Boston Pizza Westgate, just north of West Edmonton Mall. Swing on by. Tons of prizes. Great food, as always, at Boston Pizza. EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager on the way.